one of the most influential philosophers to ever live, Epictetus, who lived from 341 to 270 BC, had a relatively simple philosophy that has had a profound effect on countless people across the globe. Over the last few years, I've made it my mission to study ancient philosophies and put them into practice in my own life and with others. And without a doubt, Epictetus's philosophy is one that has been the most beneficial to me. The Stoics, as they are commonly known, taught us how to be resilient in the face of adversity, calm and clear-headed during difficult times, and to generally have a better grasp on our emotions so we can make better decisions. This video will cover why Epictetus's philosophy can change your life and what his philosophy entails. Let's dive right in. The first reason that this philosophy can change your life is because it puts things into perspective. You might think that you're going through something really bad right now, like maybe your business is failing, or someone just betrayed you, or you're restarting over at a new school. But when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's really not all that bad. Imagine if you were alive during the time of the Roman Empire, and you were getting tortured for the amusement of the masses. Or imagine if you lived in a time where starvation was a real threat. Or even more extreme examples like being burned alive, which happened quite frequently back then, or having your head chopped off. In reality, there's a lot to be grateful for. When you think about the fact that you could be experiencing way worse things than you are, you start to realize that your problems aren't all that big. This realization leads to the second point, which is that it helps you focus on what's important. When you realize that things aren't as bad as they could be, you gain clarity on what's actually important and what isn't. For example, let's say you're arguing with your significant other. Maybe they did something that you don't agree with, and you're upset. But in the heat of the moment, do you need to be constantly screaming at each other? Probably not. And by putting things into perspective, you remind yourself that whatever it is you're fighting about isn't worth ruining your relationship over. So instead, take some deep breaths, relax, and calmly tell them what it is that you'd like to see changed. This relates to another massive benefit of Epictetus's philosophy, which is that it reduces stress. When you realize that most things are within your control, and that many of the things you're re-stressing out about are actually good things to have, you realize that you shouldn't be stressed out in the first place. Think about it. Let's say you're driving to work and you realize that you're late. Instead of stressing out and speeding and tailgating everyone, why not put on a calm mindset and take a few deep breaths? By doing so, you'll arrive at work a little bit later, but you'll have less stress. It's the same thing with every aspect of life. Whenever you notice yourself stressing out over something, ask yourself, is this really worth stressing out over? Because chances are the answer is no. And moving along, the fourth reason that this philosophy is so beneficial is that it teaches you how to be resilient in the face of adversity. One of the most famous quotes from the Stoics is that the obstacle is the path. By accepting the things you cannot control, you free yourself up to focus on the things you can. When you get cut off by a random driver, get mad at yourself for letting that person affect your emotions, instead of taking responsibility and moving past it. By doing so, you become a more resilient person, which benefits you in every aspect of life. This also touches on another great thing about this philosophy, which is that it makes you self-aware. Whenever you notice yourself getting angry, sad, or depressed, you can pause and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Chances are it's something that's within your control. You just need to be more self-aware in order to realize it. We often feel emotions without even realizing it. So take some time to get in touch with your feelings. Ask yourself why you're feeling the way you are. Then once you understand where the emotion is coming from, you can move forward and become stronger. Moving along, another massive benefit of this philosophy is that it helps you become a better judge of character. In today's world, it's very easy to be taken advantage stronger. Moving along, another massive benefit of this philosophy is that it helps you become of. People will try and scam you. They'll try and trick you. And it seems like every day There's news of another company going bankrupt, or people losing their life savings due to a Ponzi scheme. Well, a big part of Epictetus' philosophy was teaching people how to be discerning and to realize that not everyone is honest. Although it's hard to know someone's true intentions, you can look for clues to help guide you in the right direction. For example, does this person gossip a lot? Do they talk behind people's backs? If so, it's likely that they'll talk about you behind your back as well. So be careful with who you share information with. By becoming a better judge of character, you protect yourself and your resources while making sure that you surround yourself with good people. Another great thing about this philosophy is that it gives you wisdom. As mentioned before, one of the central tenets of Stoicism is the idea of accepting the things you cannot control. By doing so, you become wiser and more level-headed. You're able to see both sides of every situation, which allows you to make better decisions. Many people make decisions based on emotions. But when you're wise, you understand that sometimes you need to step back and think before you act. And Stoicism teaches you how to do exactly that. Now, moving along, another amazing benefit of this philosophy is that it allows you to forgive. You might be thinking, why should I forgive this person? What they did was horrible. Well, although what they did was horrible, by holding on to anger and hate, you're hurting yourself more than you're hurting them. As the saying goes, revenge is a dish best served cold. And that's true. By letting go of anger and hate, you free yourself from the burden of constantly thinking about the negative action that was done to you. Not only that, but it allows you to move forward and be a better person. When you forgive someone, it doesn't mean that you agree with what they did. It simply means that you're choosing to move on and focus on more important things. And finally, the last reason that this philosophy can change your life is because it forces you to be honest. Epictetus believed that honesty was one of the most important qualities a person could have. He said that it's the foundation of all morality, and that without it, society would fall apart. And although that might seem like a bold statement, he was right. Without honesty, there would be no trust, and everyone would be out for themselves. It's honesty that allows us to build relationships, trust, and ultimately have a functional society. So by practicing honesty in your everyday life, you become a better person, which benefits you in every aspect of life. Start by being honest with yourself. Reflect on your actions and ask yourself, am I really being honest here, or am I lying to myself? Once you become more honest with yourself, it'll be easier to be honest with others, which will lead to an overall better life. By the way, if you want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love. Until next time.